refresh the page just to be sure. That's good. Ah, there we are. Yep. Woohoo! Tell me about it. It's already been humid as hell here, and then it rained, and it kind of cooled it off a little bit, but bring it. I'm ready for it. I might be the only one ready for it. I'm ready for it. But... Alrighty.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started. Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to episode 789 of the Overseas Connection podcast. Today is June 16th, 2024, and this is a special, well, not so special, but it's a happy Father's Day episode. Hey, if you're not familiar with us, we're a video game podcast. We talk about video games, we talk about life. Probably talk more life than video games today, just to be perfectly honest, because we're just kind of in that time frame of the year. All the big shows hit. We're now kind of in post E3, if you will. But we do this every Sunday, 8 p.m. in the UK, 12 p.m. on the West Coast, 3 p.m. on the East Coast. And if you're out in the Central Time Zone getting pummeled by rain, tornadoes, and God knows what, it's
Locusts.
2 p.m.
Although I think that's everywhere, isn't it? I think everybody's supposed to be having locusts right now. So
This is true. Oh, we got to talk about that too.
Hmm?
More fun stuff. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, and that voice you just heard is the gal with the most bruised face. Kim Woods. Kim, how you doing?
That's me. I'm actually good with everything that's been going on this past week. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. So just don't mind the bruise.
Excited to have you here, and we'll get into the bruise. We'll talk about that. She won, for the record, everybody. She won. All right. I guess that's kind of everything. Well, you know, we've got a Discord channel. If you want to join the Discord, please, by all means, do. It's going to be in the show notes. So do join the Discord. Also, like, subscribe, do that social media thing. It's always helpful. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything noted. Greg
Right.
DeLacy, Gamertag Murphy's Law. What more do you need to know from me? Oh, yeah. OC Murphy's Law on Twitter as well. Yeah, I said Twitter. Take that, Elon. Tired of X. It's a dumb name, Elon. I'm sorry. It's dumb. I love you, but it's dumb.
Right.
I would settle with Twitter X. I can live with that, but not X is just dumb. I'm not Xing. I'm tweeting. Okay.
Here. I agree with you there.
Yeah. So let's just talk some story time, Kim.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
I think a lot of people are going to be shocked right now because we're starting on time.
I know, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
there's nobody in the chat yet, so they're probably like, "Oh, well, they haven't started yet." You know.
Yeah. By the way, Skype, quit telling me noise suppression software, blah blah blah. I don't care. I've got my settings where I want them. Leave me alone. All right, Kim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you start because my story time is gonna be fairly lengthy and long-winded.
Okay.
So,
Mine not so much, but
well,
you said don't think.
you got some stories to tell. Let's.
I do.
let's
I
hear
have a few. You know. All right. Well, as you all know, I wasn't on last weekend because we were taking the boys to Kansas City to spend the, I don't know, month and a half, I think, with their dad in Oklahoma. So I'm officially kid-free for the next month and a half.
Okay.
This first week was interesting because, well, I didn't really get to do anything that I thought I was going to get to do, but there's reasons for that.
Okay.
Well, was it Wednesday? We had to go to Columbia, which is about 2.5 hours south of here, for my sister's dentist appointment because she's got some teeth issues seem to be running rampant. So anyway, we had to run down there for her dental appointment.
Okay.
And we come back, and then the next day, Thursday, I had to go in for my dental appointment, which I thought I was only having two, because all had left was 2 fillings. I needed another wisdom tooth pulled, and she was going to fix my chipped front tooth. And so I thought Thursday I was just going in to have 2 fillings put in because that's all my paperwork said. Well, no, I get in there, and she proceeds to tell me not only will I get my 2 fillings put in, but I'm also getting that wisdom tooth pulled, which I had thought originally going down there, that's what was going to happen. But then my paperwork said fillings. So I figured, okay, that's what I'm going to have done is the fillings. And apparently we're going to schedule the wisdom tooth and the other things later,
Famous last word. Yeah.
Right.
They're sneaky like that, Kim. They're sneaky like that.
So I get in there and she comes in, and a little dental hygienist, she goes, well, this is what we're going to plan for today. She's like, we're going to pull the wisdom tooth and we're going to do the fillings. And I was kind of excited about that because the kids are gone. So I would rather have the wisdom tooth pulled and have to deal with all that stuff while children are gone than do it while they're here.
Makes sense.
So that was all right. So anyway, we get in there and she's doing her thing with all the little, I don't know, drills and whatnot, the little things that make noise and about drowned you with water.
Right.
She even gave me this little like rubber thing to put in my mouth so that way one side of it would stay open, because I guess, I don't know if she was tired of me, half-ass closing my mouth and then yelling at me to open it. So she gave me this little cheek thing so that way I didn't have to, mind myself. And question, I know you can probably sympathize with this, but why is it when you are in something like that, you know how to breathe in and out of your nose, but then once you get in the dental chair and that water starts flowing, it's like you're an open mouth mouth breathing fish. You forget how to breathe through your nose.
Well,
why is that?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, your nasal passage does go into your throat, so there is part of that. I mean, obviously, we kind of learn how to close off our throat to allow mouth breathing without the mouth, no, I can't even speak anymore. Nasal breathing without the mouth being open and vice versa.
Right.
But sometimes a little difficult.
Right, because she's sitting there and she's like, well, just remember, she said, breathe through your nose. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I do this every day. But when you're laying back in that chair with your mouth wide open, the water going and everything else, suddenly it's like you just fucking forget how to breathe through your nose. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like calming myself down and like, breathe through your nose, Kim, which is what I'm repeating into my head is breathe through your nose.
And really in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm drowning. I'm drowning.
Right.
You're drowning.
Right. Thankfully, she had another woman in there that would run the hose, so that way it wasn't so bad.
I'm surprised they just didn't leave the hose in there. Usually that's what they do is they just hook it to the side of the mouth and it's just like it's in there.
Right. Not this time.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I get in there and she's doing all this and she's like, well, we're going to put the fillings in first and then we're going to pull the tooth. And I'm like, all right, no problem. I'm prepared for this. I've already been through this once. And she's going right along. And I notice she's moving around to like the other side of my mouth. And I'm like, well, that's odd because, the molar is over here that she's supposed to pull, not to mention the 2 teeth that she's supposed to fill are over here.
Right.
So anyway, we get done and everything. And I'm laying there and she's cleaning things up and she brings me a mirror and she's like, here, look. And I'm like, why do I want to look at the 2 teeth she filled and the one she pulled, And she's like, no, look. And I look, and she had already went ahead and fixed my front teeth. So I was not expecting that day.
Okay.
So yeah, it only took about an hour.
All right.
Again, the bruise, that is why.
Right.
I didn't get in a fight.
I still think we should have led with fist fight instead of,
right. Well, I thought maybe telling people I went to the grocery store to buy a dozen donuts and there was a lady in front of me that wanted the donuts worse than I did. So I mouthed off and she punched me in the face, but I still got the donuts. But
that would have been like a typical like Twitter video, chicks fighting in a donut shop,
Exactly. So I thought about that, or like I went to the bar and mouthed off to somebody and they punched me in the face. Or my brother told me that I should tell people that Dad finally got tired of me bitching about things and walloped me. But I'm like, yeah, but if anybody knew Dad, they knew I wouldn't, he wouldn't hit me. So that wouldn't work. But anyway, so that's why I have the bruise. I had the molar pulled and it was all the way in the back. So of course they've got to force your mouth open wider than it's ever been before. So I guess it kind of pulls on things and whatnot. So
I guess anyway, this is a good segue for me to real quickly talk about teeth because So last dental check, right?
Right.
My dentist was like, hey, it's going to be $700 basically for us to do this procedure that we want to do for you right now. Are you prepared to pay for it? I'm like, no, I'm not. Let's reschedule.
Right?
And
Right.
and after I rescheduled, I was like, "Fuck that dentist! I'm going to get proactive on the gum bleeding because
Right.
that was their big concern."
Right.
So I'm happy to say that over the course of the past 30 days, I've been diligent about the flossing, about taking those little picks in between the teeth,
Right.
and then the Listerine. That's the kit that I think that's been the real find. I
Right.
got some Listerine that's specific around gum bleeding and helping
Right.
reverse gingivitis, that kind of thing, and
Mhm.
no more bleeding. Everything feels fine. So, Mr. Dentist, fuck you. I will find a different dentist.
There you
Because
go.
I just didn't buy into it. And it bothered me that he was like, I'm looking at a report from 6 months back being like, oh, well, there's a high bacteria count. Well, we need to do this procedure now. Like, well, how about you take the reading like today?
Right.
How bad really is it? Is it really bad?
Right.
I don't think it is. And so, yeah, needless to say, I'm going to find a new dentist.
I don't
That's
blame
that's my solution for whenever they find something wrong with me. I will just find a new dentist. Somebody that will tell me what I
Hey,
want to
there
hear.
you go. There you go. Well, thankfully, after all that, because like I said, they did the whole workup on me the other day. Now I don't have to go back till August, and all that's for cleaning. So
There you go.
as far as I
Nice.
know, as long as this molar thing heals up, and I came home and did the 24 hours with the ice pack thing, so I'm hoping I don't get a bunch of swelling or lockjaw or any of that crap that I got last time. I don't know. We'll see. But I am, drinking my lunch because here I've got a protein shake.
Oh,
So
is this
yeah.
is this because of the tooth situation? You're still being cautious, or is this also kicking into a summer get fit program?
A little bit both, because before I got the first one and all this whole dental thing started, I was actually working out about 3 times a day or three
Okay.
times a week. And then the tooth thing happened, and like for 48 hours you can't do anything, and then the pain and all that, and so I kind of fall off of it for like the last month with all this dental shit going on. So yeah, so after all this heals up, I'm gonna get back into it. So if you're looking for a good one, this is Fairlife
Okay.
protein shake, and it's pretty damn good. I like the strawberry ones and the strawberry banana. The chocolate's a little iffy, but as long as it's cold, it's not bad. So I wouldn't want to drink it warm. I don't suggest that. But
still partial to muscle milk, I have to say.
right,
But I tend
not
to
tried that one, but I
go
will.
Vanilla's Oreo cookie
Mhm.
or their banana one is
Oh.
awesome. I don't know why. I love the banana one.
Mm,
Yeah. Anyway.
I may have to
Yeah.
check that
Okay.
one
I
out.
said
But
it. I
yeah,
love the
so
banana. I know.
you love the banana.
Yeah.
Wait, don't.
Happy
Never
Father's
mind.
Day.
So yeah, part of it's the dental thing because I still have to eat solid or soft foods and stuff for like 3 or 4 days because you don't want anything getting back in there and infecting and all that stuff. So I'm hoping by my sister's birthday, which is Wednesday or Thursday, it's the 19th, Wednesday. She's wanting to go out for Mexican food, so I'm hoping by then I'll be well enough. I can eat as long as I chew on this side. I think I'll be fine. So
Especially chips
Yeah.
and salsa. I'm just saying. It's like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see. But that's pretty much it for me. It's been a lot of running around and everything else. So I haven't even get started on my movies or anything yet that I wanted to watch while the kids are gone. But it's a month and a half, so I've got a while.
You've got
yet,
some time.
So
You've got some
yeah.
time.
so
All right. Strap
How
in,
about
Kim.
you?
Strap in.
alrighty.
First off, real fast, shout out to Boomer. I see him in the chat.
Yeah.
Cheers, Boomer. So where to start? So, okay, last weekend, I'm going to go out of order here on my notes
Okay.
here, but last weekend, we had a block party after the podcast. So I live on a court. It's about 8 houses on this court. And so all the families got together. We had a big old like outdoor get together in the court, food, the whole 9 yards. Leading up to that, though, probably, well, the day before we started noticing a bunch of crickets, but that morning it was crazy. Like thousands of crickets all over the street, in the backyard, on the sides of our house even. They were everywhere.
You're gonna plague.
I mean, it was like a swarm of crickets coming through. So Cindy, it's just like, Greg, get out there. Get out there with spray. So I use, I think it's Bio Advanced Formula for our house when I'm treating for bugs. It's actually fantastic. If you don't know of it, look it up. And basically what it's meant to do is it's really for spraying like on lawns and around vegetation, but also you can spray the very base foundation area of the house. And they say spray about a foot up high. And what that ultimately does is it creates this barrier for anything trying to crawl onto the house. It'll die off and it keeps the house a little more bug free than normal. I do it because of the spiders, all of that good stuff. Well, I went to town. So it's a concentration. So you have to mix it with water. And I basically did up a gallon jug of it, sprayed the entire house all the way down our sidewalk, our driveway. And we're noticing it's working. So then Cindy's like, go spray our neighbors. Go spray the street. I sprayed everywhere. And it worked.
Well, good.
We saw like, we could still see all the crickets at the end of the street. Like I was spraying like lines all the way across the street. Like, you know, the red line, don't cross this or death type thing.
Right.
And it was just, I mean, they stayed out, but it was so bad. It actually made the news.
Oh, wow.
They were talking about just the amount of crickets, and I don't know where they came from, what happened, but yeah, they were out in force. But yeah, so from there, I then was scheduled to go on a trip to Florida for work. I was flying out Tuesday night. I was doing a red eye because I needed to get into Florida for basically Wednesday morning, and flying from the West Coast to the East Coast, unless you do a red eye, there's no way you're ever going to fly in and make it in the morning just because of the time zone change. So I'm like, I'll do a red eye. Well, the night before, Monday night, around 8:00, Colin starts getting a bunch of seizures. They're lasting 10 to 15 seconds each, but they're clustering. And if you don't know the term clustering, and basically that means, you know, you're getting like multiple seizures happening within a certain time frame. And so we administer his emergency medication. Doesn't have really any effect. We give him a second dose of emergency medication after a few hours. Still isn't really taking. So finally, about 12 o'clock at night, we just said, you know what? Let's pack up. Let's get him to emergency room. And so I was in ER till 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, boy.
Amazingly, 3:30 though, I was able to get us out of ER by 4 o'clock in the morning. And I say get us out because they gave Colin Valium. It helped calm him down and allowed his body and his mind to just kind of reset. And so he was fine. He was just sleeping in the bed in ER at that point. But at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I realized all we're doing is just sitting in here. They're not doing any procedures for him anymore. We're just taking up bed space. So I'm like, get us out of here. So they released us. We get home. And so I turn around at 10 o'clock at night. I get on this red-eye flight to come out to Florida. And of course, I'm thinking red-eye flight. I'm going to sleep on the plane. I have no problem sleeping on planes. What I didn't account for is apparently red-eye flights are like the popular flight for families.
Huh. I wouldn't have
And
seen that one coming.
We
but-
had 10 babies on the flight. It was
Oh,
packed.
no.
It was a full flight, 10
no.
kids. And of course, like 6 rows back from me is the screaming kid, does not want to go to sleep for like 45 minutes. I'm like, oh God, here we go. But finally the kid falls asleep. I fall asleep and slept. And we get into Charlotte. So I was basically, there was not a direct flight from California to Florida. So I had to fly into Charlotte. So I'm like, okay, I'll have breakfast. Everything's going fine. Get on the next leg going to Fort Myers, Florida. And so get on the flight, and about 25 minutes out, they're like, we're going to go into a holding pattern. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, there's a severe weather front, weather cell in Naples and Fort Myers. So we're going to hold and see if it clears up. But if it doesn't, we're going to have to redirect to Tampa. Tampa is like 2.5 hours away from where I was going. So I'm like, I really want to land in Fort Myers, please. So lo and behold, we have to redirect. They get us to Tampa. We sit another 20 minutes on the tarmac because they don't have a gate for us because, of course, we were a surprise, a surprise landing. They weren't accounting for the plane to stop there. So we finally get a gate. They get to the gate. They start refueling the plane, but they're like, we don't have personnel to deboard the plane. So we're just going to have everybody hang tight. We're hoping to be, out of here within the half hour. Half hour rolls by. We get a note from the pilot. Hey, so we still haven't got clearance for Fort Myers yet. The cell's still there. I negotiated with the tower. This was the funniest terminology. I negotiated with the tower for us to be here for about another hour and hope that we'll be able to get out of here by then. Like, okay, we're negotiating with the tower, which seemed odd, but okay. We're an hour now. It's starting to get stuffy. It's starting to get a little warm because the AC they're pumping in isn't the greatest AC. Unlike when you're on the flight, it's always Arctic cold in a plane. So I'm like, so what's going on now? Another 45 minutes.
Oh no!
Sitting there waiting, and then suddenly the pilot just gets on. He's like, "All right, we've got our window. Everybody sit in your seats. We're getting out of here." So we fly into Fort Myers, and when we flew in, it seemed relatively calm, no big deal. We get to the hotel. Now, here was the fun part. I didn't tell Cindy. We were staying at the Ritz-Carlton. So the conference was at the Ritz-Carlton. So I was like all excited to be at the Ritz-Carlton. Well, the Ritz-Carlton during a tropical storm is basically just like any other hotel out there, with the exception of you have very nice people and everything is super expensive. So, I brought like my bathing suit. No, none of that was happening. The hotel main bar in the lobby was closed down because there was water leaking from the roof into the hotel lobby. So it was just like, okay, this is going to be an interesting stay. Well, the weather then kind of cleared up. The next day it was somewhat nice. And so at right around 11, I broke off. I had a client call I needed to make from the hotel room. I go back to my room and I had my back to the window. And so I, wasn't getting like screen or glare coming through the window, making it hard for me to see my screen. Anyway, so as I'm sitting there on the call with the client, about 30 minutes in, I noticed the room just kind of darkens. And I'm like, okay. And then I start hearing thunder. I get done with the client call. I turn around. I look out the window. Freaking rain's coming sideways. There's lightning strikes happening all over the place. Thunder is now super loud. It's moved in off of the ocean and hitting landfall. All of the grounds, down below, as I'm looking down at them, they're like at least under an inch of water. It was just pouring rain. So I'm like, great. Am I going to be able to leave tomorrow? This now becomes my chief concern is how am I getting home?
Right.
So that then becomes another adventure because the weather turned out to be nice the next day, but in other parts of Florida, they were still getting hammered by rain. And so it wasn't my flight leaving Fort Myers to Dallas-Fort Worth because I was now flying back through Dallas to get home. It was my flight in Dallas was delayed because the plane coming to Dallas that I was supposed to get on was coming from Orlando. So American Airlines is like, you need to switch your second flight. I'm like, great. So I'm like, let me see what's available. There were 2 flights available. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm on their dumb little app. And I'm like, well, I'll pick one and just look at what the seating chart looks like. I click on it. It just locked me into the flight. Didn't give me an option to look at the seats before locking me into the flight. So then, of course, as I'm looking at the seat options, all of them are middle row. Or middle. And I'm like, oh, you've got to be effing kidding me. And so I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to pay. So I ended up paying like $60 out of my own pocket to just upgrade my seat to a window seat in like the premium legroom area. And I do that and I'm like, okay. And of course, on the first leg of the flight, I had a window seat. And then I get, an announcement from the gate. Passenger Greg DeLacy, please come to the front kiosk. Passenger Greg DeLacy to the kiosk. And that's never a good sign. So I'm like, oh God, what now? So I get up there and the lady's like, so you don't have to say yes to this, but would you mind giving up your seat for a passenger a woman who wants to sit with her young daughter? And I knew who they were because I'd already seen them. And I was just like, I'll be good. Good karma has to come back my way.
Right.
So So I give up my seat, which of course then puts me in a middle aisle or middle seat. I get to my middle seat on that flight. A guy about 300 pounds on the window.
I was waiting for that.
And then another guy just about as big as me sitting on the aisle. And I looked at the guy coming as he comes to his seat. And I'm like, of course. And he just laughed. He's like, yeah, of course. So we're all awkward, all, just trying to squeeze into our little spaces, which isn't working very well. Get into Dallas, and then my second flight, even though I rearranged it, that flight then gets delayed because they blew a tire coming in.
Oh, God.
So they had to change the tire on the plane, and they decided to change the other tire. So they're changing 2 tires. That took an ungodly amount of time. So I was delayed by another 2 hours leaving, and I'm like, so needless to say, I got home at 3:30 in the morning, Saturday night.
Oh, man.
Or Saturday morning, I should say. So yeah, it was crazy. And no, I didn't get my money back.
Ouch.
Because it was all weather related, with the exception of the one delay on the flat tire, but they didn't cancel the flight. They kept the flight. So, yeah, it made for a very long day of travel. So yeah.
Shit, you could have drove home quicker.
I'm telling you. And so then the funny thing was then yesterday we were going to go see this group called Southbound, and it was at a marina bar called Swabby's down on the Sacramento River. And I'm tired. And
Right.
Cindy's like, do you want to go to this? And I'm like, I don't know. And I know she was looking forward to it, and I had been looking forward to it before. And I was just like, you know what? No, we'll go. Because she was kind of like, I'll go without you if you don't want to go and you just want to hang out. She's like, I get it. I understand. And I'm like, no. Let's go. Let's all do this as a family. We had a blast. It was a great just time. The weather was perfect. It was about 85, but there was plenty of shade where we were at. This was an
Nice.
outdoor venue, good Southern rock playing, and good food. Had some awesome fish tacos. So anyway.
Yeah, they looked delicious as I was sitting here eating my ice cream and chocolate pudding. So, and then Phil with his booze. I'm like, God damn it, I can't do that either. So,
I know. And yes, Boomer, 100%. No, it was all basically an FU kind of moment. Yeah, but needless to say, America not on my top list of airlines these days.
Yeah.
I think I've had the best luck with Delta, to be perfectly honest. So there. Anyway, that's it. That was my week. I did not really get much gaming in. I did get a little bit of Hypercharge in. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Right.
But it was just a lot of travel, a lot of delays, a lot of waiting around.
Right.
And yeah, I did listen to every podcast. I had like 14 podcasts downloaded on my phone. All of them were done by the time I was back home. So I got plenty of that in. All right. Oh, by the way, happy Father's Day, everybody. Yeah, Father's Day. That's happening today. And so my plan for today, I told Cindy, I said, you know what? We're going to order pizza. We're going to have a just pool time. We're going to hang out, have fun. And then loosely, that's morphing a little bit because then I'm like, well, we could do some running around if we want. It doesn't have to be like a strict like celebration day. Let's just keep it casual. That's my main thing. I don't want anything high stress. So, so far so good. Got some gifts from my son as well as my wife, and just had a fun morning with them. So it's starting off
That's
well.
cool. Good.
All right. I think that is everything. So for now, let's talk about video games.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
All right. Kim,
Mhm. Yes.
we had some community questions. Discord.
We do.
Let's talk about those real fast.
Alrighty. We can do that. Alrighty. We've got one from Nicole. And she says, I don't have a question, just a comment. Happy Father's Day. So
Well, thank you, Nicole.
Yeah.
I'd say Happy Father's Day back, but that would be a little awkward and weird, so I won't.
Yeah,
But I will
well,
say
you know,
Happy
I don't
Father's Day
know.
to all the other fathers.
I wish my dad a happy Mother's Day every year, so
Seems a bit weird, Kim. Just saying.
I don't have one, so he's the
Ah,
closest
okay.
thing I've got.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's dual purpose.
There you go.
And then from CP Matthew, we have who, and this is this seems pertinent given the day. He says, "Who is your favorite dad in a game?"
That is a very
So
pertinent question. And
Yeah.
at first I was kind of struggling with this, and then of course we had Marcanix threw in an answer, I believe.
right, he did. He says Kratos, and then he goes, "Boy." So I can't
So-
get deep enough to do Kratos. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boy.
boy.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say this now.
Okay.
Kratos is the worst father ever. He's a shitty dad. He's verbally abusive. He teaches very bad lessons. He basically
Right.
just teaches his son to murder people. Yeah, no, Kratos, not my favorite game dad. No.
Right.
I think I lean, and it's just tough because there's not a lot of fathers per se that you see in games. Like, they probably have families, but you don't know for
Right.
sure. But I think Marcus Phoenix is probably my favorite.
Yep.
You could argue he's probably no better than Kratos. Sure, he kills a lot, but he kills only the Locust. He's not killing other people. And Kratos, let's face it. Yes, he kills monsters, but he also is going after gods. He's killing
Right.
other gods. So, I don't know.
I like that answer. I was gonna say I don't know. I had a hard time with this one too because a lot of the fathers in these games are kind of shitty, but I don't know. I thought maybe John Marston with the way he was with Jack, but then again,
Oh, that's a
some
good
of
one.
some of the things he did though is a little questionable. But then I don't know. But the thing is, in real life, you look at my dad, you could probably not. My father obviously has not murdered anyone or anything like that. But I mean, you can honestly say, he probably did a few questionable things. So
Sure.
you know,
I like
but,
the Marston. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
yep. So
Yeah.
yeah. So,
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Boomer, by the way, cheers to you. Yes, thank you for the comments about our posts on Facebook. I'll talk about it a little later, but I mean, it was both a joyous and emotional day for me as first Father's Day without my father.
Right.
So it definitely stirred some emotions this morning, and so I posted up some stuff on Facebook about that. But okay, I think we've answered this question. Kratos,
I think we have to.
shitty dad.
Right.
John Marston, dad with redemption. Right.
There you go.
He's
There you go. Good. I like that one.
He kind of came back around. He turned things around. He started off on a
Right.
bad path, and then he redeemed himself into a good path. And then Marcus Phoenix, always been righteous.
Right.
He's just he rules a bit with the iron fist, so to speak. But I don't think there's ever been any question of him having a good heart and being a good person.
Right.
So yeah. I'm curious if Boomer has a favorite video game dad. I Octodad. I did think of that video game at first,
right. Okay.
but
yeah.
I just can't say he's my favorite dad. He's a
Right.
unique dad, but yeah. Also, we'll be curious to hear of CP Matthew if he ever chimes in or shows up. We'll be curious what his favorite dad might be in
Right.
video games. That is.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at, Kim? We don't really need to talk about the games that we get for free because we paid for
Right.
them, because we already talked about that enough, I think, so far.
Right.
So let's talk about the video games that we actually have played. I'm going to start.
Alrighty.
Let's kind of get some Hypercharge out of the way.
Sounds good.
Let this play. I'm going to transition over. So yeah, Hypercharge. This, if you remember the movie Toy Story or God, now I can't think of it. Toy Soldier. Really, Toy
Small
Soldier.
soldiers.
That's what this
Small
is. Toy
soldiers.
Soldiers. Yes,
Small soldiers.
that too.
Yeah. Small soldiers. Yeah.
It's something soldiers toy small. There you go.
Yep.
The game is great. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Now, mind you, I've only played the single player part of it. This is the tutorial that's on screen right now. It very much has a God. I'm trying to remember the. There was another game actually that was like toys in a a wave-based PvE kind of game, and I think it was Toy Soldiers, where
Okay.
you set up all of these different machine gun nests and basically cannons to stop the advancement of the other war toys to taking
Right.
over your territory. Also a great game. This is kind of similar to that, although this time it's very much first-person shooter. Although you can go third-person, but I don't recommend it. And then you're setting up environmental stuff to basically keep the enemy toys at bay and stop
Right.
them from destroying or taking over different hold points. It's all really well done. It feels great. The shooting is spot on. It has just the right amount of floatiness because you're toys. And just visually, just kind of, again, you see it here. You're in a toy shop right now. You're running around. They capture the essence of those environments really, really well. So I've very much been enjoying my time with it. Did you pick this up, Kim?
I did actually. I picked it up for me, and I picked it up for Tony.
Have
And
you played it yet?
I have.
Okay, this is always the question we have to ask Kim.
Right.
You know, you buy games, but then have you actually played them?
All right, but I did. I actually played this one after there was some back and forth, because I figured this would be something me and Tony would like, and I was right. He I don't know. I think at first he thought I was nuts, but then once he started to play it, he liked it. And then for Fatal Friday, was it last week or the week before last? Mark did it for Fatal Friday, and me and Tony joined in then and played with him and Snoogans and his son Jay, and it was really a lot of fun. So yeah, it definitely reminds me of that. Like Army Men. I used to play the Army Men games way back in the day, and
Okay.
it reminds me a lot. Of course, they have the green Army Men on here too. Is something that you kill, you take out.
Right.
So that kind of gave me a chuckle. But it's fun, and I mean it's only $30, so it's not like you're spending $70 on it or anything like that. So I think it's well worth the $30 if you ask
Yeah,
me.
and apparently, I follow the developer online on Twitter, and the
Right.
developer actually has been super happy. Apparently, it's done very well on Xbox and on Steam, so they're thrilled with the reception so far. So
Well, good. I'm
happy
really
for
enjoying
them.
it.
Yeah,
I'm ready to get back into it and play. I haven't played it single player yet, but I'm sure it's not much different. But I really do like the multiplayer part of it. John Mouse, when me and Tony were playing, John Major Revenge jumped in and he played with us for a little while, so it's always fun. You know, I didn't realize you could give each other coins either in this thing, so I'm finding that out. There's still some things on this game I'm trying to figure out, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
I did not
So
realize you could give coins either. So there you go,
yeah, see,
learn
so
something new every day.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll transition from this exceptional first-person shooter toy game to cats. Kim,
Wouldn't know why that would be.
let's talk about the pussy in the room.
Alrighty. Well, no, which one? There's like 3 in here. Anyway, no, I played Little Kitty Big City a little bit off and on in my travels last week, and I 100%ed it. I got her all completed and done and whatnot. Found all the hats and did all the things and got all the achievements. So yeah, it's very much Untitled Goose Game if you've ever played it.
It's
But with a
basically
cat.
that. Okay.
Yeah, basically. I mean, there's a story to it. You have to get back home after falling out of your window perch or whatever. But yeah, you go, you pick up trash, you trip people. That's what I did. I did it a lot.
You're a menace. You are a
I
menace, Kim.
I am a little bit, yeah. Well, there was this achievement where you had to get them to take your picture with their camera phone, and some of them wouldn't. So I'd get mad and I'd run up in front of them and wait for them to trip over me. So I'm like, this will show you. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's a good game. I mean, I like cats, so obviously it was straight up my alley there. But if you liked Untitled Goose Game and a game that's not terribly, like, I don't know. I guess I've been bagging on chill games here lately, but this one was actually really good because there was, I don't know, like a story to it. I guess you'd say there. You had an idea of what you were supposed to do. So
Yeah, so like I'm watching this on this. So there's certain items that you can pick up.
Right.
I'm not sure why picking up a slipper makes.
Well, I don't know. It's just one of them random things because, like, there was stuffed animals you could pick up. Like, they have a park and they have this little like robot statue for the park. There was a little story there, but I forgot what it was. So anyway, beside this robot statue, I had my little hoard of things like you could randomly pick up. like the slipper, there was scissors, there was a little unicorn stuffed animal thing, and just random toilet paper. You could pick up toilet paper rolls and walk around with them. And apparently people didn't think too much about a cat, walking around with a toilet paper roll in its mouth, whatever. So just little weird things like that. You go around, knock plants off, and they give you an achievement for that. And I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was what is it, like $24, $25, something like that. I already bought it on Steam, so I'll probably end up buying it on Xbox because it's on Game Pass. So I mean, if you want to try it out without spending any money, well, there you go. If you've got Game Pass, you're ready to go. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It didn't take me very long, so. Yeah.
By the way,
and it seems to be getting really good reviews, so people seem to really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. It's being received fairly well.
Right.
I'm watching the cat talking to the crow.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the crow would normally want to eat the cat.
Well, if it was smaller, it maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, if it was dead, probably.
We have some big crows over here. I hadn't noticed them before, and then just the other day, I'm like noticing up on the rooftop. They're big, like not tiny crows. We actually had a hawk on our back fence. Ironically, was just staring down into the yard.
Right.
Just waiting.
Probably
for
looking for that mouse you tried to drown in your pool, probably.
For the record, I did drown it. It did die, and then apparently its buddy drowned the other day as well. So we've taken out 2 field mouses so far, or 2 field mouses. Anyway, they're not
funny.
swimming very well apparently.
Yeah, well, I guess they need to go to the YMCA and take some swimming lessons or something.
Yeah, you know what? I'm totally okay with them dying.
Don't blame me. I'm right there with you. But yeah, no, I played this, and like I said, I 100%ed it the other day. I only had a couple achievements left to go get, so I did. I got all the hats. I think there was like 42 hats or something you had to collect. I got them all. So
collect them all.
Yeah, I collected them all. Kind of like
All
Pokemon, except
Okay.
this was more fun. So yeah,
Little
that's
City, big. Comparing this to Stray,
right.
where do you land?
Well, Stray was definitely more of an emotional kind of thing because you're not sure if you're gonna get this kitten back to the its family, yada yada yada. This is more easygoing, more lighthearted sort. Stray comparatively would be pretty heavy, I think, if you were to try to compare the two. I like them both equally well. They're just a little different. Stray was more of a story, sort of thing, where this was just more of, hey, I'm a cat, I'm loose in the city, let's go see what I can fuck up. So.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess then we can talk, not really news, but we're going to play the
Right.
news jingle anyway, because we do have
Okay.
some stuff to talk about.
Alrighty.
Here is the fucking news.
All right, Kim.
Uh-huh.
Music is detected and may be suppressed. If you want people to hear it, go to device settings and choose something. I don't know. It disappeared on me. All right. E3, it happened.
Right.
And yeah, I'm saying E3. Come on. Summer
You
Games
mean
Fest,
not E3?
the Xbox Showcase, all of that happened. We had predictions, but before we get into predictions, I wanted to give you a moment because you weren't on the show last week. What were you, maybe give me 2 or 3 standout games for you that were like, you know what, these are, I'm excited for these games, or maybe your impression overall of the different showcases.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, free reign. It's Kim time.
All right. Well, we all know I'm excited for Dragon Age, and after seeing the trailer, despite everybody telling me that it was Dragon Age, Fortnite, yada yada yada, fuck those people. They just want to bitch. I don't know what they were expecting, but to me, I played all the Dragon Age games, even 2, and
Right.
no, admittedly, I didn't finish it, but I've played it. I don't know what they were expecting, but the trailer is pretty much kind of the same kind of trailer they've been putting out off and on for years. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Inquisition. So I don't know.
Okay.
I know there are people that were complaining because it wasn't turn-based combat anymore. It was more real time, which
But
is fine.
it hasn't been turn-based for a while.
Right, because it wasn't for Inquisition.
Right. It wasn't for
So-
Inquisition. It wasn't even for Dragon Age 3.
Right. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, 2. I
Or
don't
2.
think was even. Yeah, Origins I think was the only one that was turn-based,
Yeah.
and even then that wasn't that. To me, it wasn't that. I played turn-based, and for me that wasn't. Maybe turn-based light, I guess you'd call it. I don't know.
I would
like-
agree with you. Yeah, this
Thank
but this
you.
does
Well,
have
yeah,
a
because-
mechanic that will stop
Right.
time
Right.
and let you choose some orders, that kind of thing, and then it
Which I'll
resumes.
probably never do because I'm lazy like that.
Yeah,
But
you know.
Because I didn't even do the turn based probably like most people would do it. But I don't know. I like the real time combat. For me, it's just easier. I don't mind spamming buttons, I guess. So I don't know what these people were expecting exactly, and I don't know why they were all put off and all mad. I mean, the only thing I'm mad about is because I can't screw Varric. Apparently, he's not romanceable in this one either, so it's like, well, fine. But I'll live. I'll find somebody else.
What did you
anyway,
think about the name change?
Honestly, I was kind of shocked at first because I was frantically Googling going, okay, is this another one they're putting out, or is this some sort of, because a while back before 2 came out or before 3 came out, they did this whole thing where your decisions would carry over and you could change your decisions or whatever. I can't remember what the hell they called it. So I wondered if maybe it wasn't some sort of like app or something where you could go in and change your decisions or whatever. And then they're like, no, we changed it from Dreadwolf to the Veilguard. And I'm like, oh, all right, I can get behind that. Because, I mean, I know it's supposed to be focused on Solus because he's the bad guy in this one, apparently. But then it's not totally focused on Solus either. So I guess I get it. It's more about you and your companions than it is about him, apparently.
I mean,
so
the name change didn't bother me so much other than just it confused me at first.
Right,
I was like,
yeah.
So is this a different game? Is this...
Exactly. That's what I was doing. I was frantically Googling going, okay, wait, are we getting 2 games instead of 1? Or is this some sort of weird offshoot thing they're coming? I didn't know. So no, that didn't bother me. So anyway, disregard that one because we all know I'm excited for that. And Fable, that's kind of in the same boat. I thought Fable looked really good. I still don't know what people were complaining about before for that one, but it looked like Fable to me, so I'm happy. It's a little weird though that they're not. Apparently, from what I'm getting, they're not letting you like make your own character. You're going to be this woman.
You are playing as a playable character now, just not so it's not create your own.
Right.
Although I have to think you will be able to like change out your armor, your look overall.
Right.
But
you're still you've got a starting off point. You can't just build it from scratch. So okay, whatever, I'm fine with that. It's Fable. I'm more for the humor and that sort of thing than as long as I can make her somewhat look like me, I'm fine. So but for games that I was kind of iffy about before this started, South of Midnight.
Yeah.
When that was first announced way back when, I just kind of, okay. But after seeing it the other day, I'm definitely on board for that one. It looked really good, so I'm excited for that one. No surprise, Gears of War.
Right.
Although I do want to see Aeon Baird. I'm just putting it out there. I mean, if we get to see, Dom and the rest of them,
I don't
see
think
Baird.
you will because I don't think Baird and Coltrane, they don't come into play in the Gears story until later.
Right.
So I have a feeling we're not going to.
That's okay though. They brought, well, I guess you could say, can't really say they brought Dom back because he's not really gone, but Dom's there, so I'm tickled.
It's a prequel. It's a prequel, E-Day,
right?
Which was a surprise, and many people freaked out because they're like, "Oh my god, they're doing a prequel. They're no longer continuing the main story. What happened with Kate, all of that. They've already confirmed that game is still happening.
Right.
They just took an opportunity to create a prequel." And it looks, I mean, I like the vibe. We don't know how it's actually going to look because, of course, this was a cinematic that they developed. But I think it looked pretty damn awesome. So I'm
right there with you. I'm excited for it. I mean, they say this will bring back like the more of the horror elements that the first ones had. Not that I really thought either the one of them were the first one or the second one were very scary, but then I guess I'm,
The first one, if you go back and play through it. Play that. They did the anniversary version of it. Right. Kind of cleaned up the graphics, whatever. But go back and play through the first, the first maybe 2 to 3 chapters.
Right.
And you definitely have the jump scare creep vibe going on in that game. It then kind of opens up into more actiony, and the scares then lessen later on.
Right.
But especially those first couple levels, once you get out of prison and you're running around, I remember thinking there's a real creepy vibe to this game, and it didn't last long. Obviously, it then becomes very action heavy. But those first kind of moments, I always thought to myself, man, they could have made a total horror game out of this if they wanted.
Right. Hello. So, to be fair, I hated being chased by the berserkers because it seemed like anytime we played multiplayer, them fucking bitches always found me and I died repeatedly. I had nightmares about those damn things for a while. But really, honestly, there wasn't any one game that I saw that I didn't really get excited over because they were all really good. And I know that's such a cop out, but it was a really good showcase this year. I was shocked.
Yeah,
I didn't, you know.
they came out and I think that again, everybody's been questioning the strategy from Microsoft and Xbox, and of course we're talking specifically right now about the Microsoft showcase. Honestly, I don't think there was anything from the Summer Games Fest showcase that really got my attention other than the Space Marines. They showed a little bit more of that game. It looks great, but beyond that, I could have done without that show.
Right.
But the Xbox showcase, it really was from start to finish just banger after banger after banger. And I think the best part is they really made a case for Game Pass because
Exactly.
it's no longer here's 2 to 3 first party games, one big hitter and then a couple smaller titles that are coming to Game Pass this year. It was, here's 4 or 5 more for this year.
Right.
And then next year, here's like 10.
Right.
And so
yeah, they actually brought it this year.
Yeah, and then even more that just didn't have release dates on them. So
right. Oh, and speaking of which, Snake Eater. I'm a big Metal Gear Metal Gear Solid fan. So yeah, Snake Eater. I played it way back when it came out.
I never played Snake Eater, so I'm kind of excited for this.
What
I didn't
was
realize it was a
Xbox,
survival
PlayStation?
kind of game.
It was, but I played it like regular Metal Gear and had no
Okay.
issue with it. So
Okay.
yeah. So I'm excited about that one. I like Snake. So
All right.
so yeah, I didn't. I know that be said, I didn't play the last one to 5 yet because
Got it.
I just haven't because so many games, so little time. But I am fully aware. I'm fully on board with playing this one because that's old Snake back in the day. So I'm good with that. But yeah, there really wasn't one game that I didn't really care for. They all looked really good, and a majority of them coming to Game Pass. I mean, COD is coming to Game Pass. I won't have
That's
to
the
put
big one.
down $70
Yeah.
to play COD, and neither will Tony because he has Game Pass. So I mean, I might even be able to pay for the Battle Pass now. So I mean, that's a big deal.
That I'm sure that's Microsoft's hope is that by not, you've already subscribed to Game Pass, so in theory you're paying for part of this game. They're hoping that you'll buy microtransactions to help kind of flesh out the rest.
Sad news is though my bunny suits and cat costumes will not transfer over to Black
Yeah.
Ops 6. So I'm gonna have to buy new bunny and new
I
cat
was just
costumes.
gonna say, you'll be buying new ones.
I will buy new ones. So yeah, but
All right.
it was
Okay.
good. Like I said, I was really. I'm like you. Summer Games Fest didn't do much for me, but boy, Xbox just knocked it out of the park. So
Well, Kim, when we did our prediction show, and it was just the
Yeah.
two of us, we threw out some
Right.
predictions. I felt pretty good about the predictions we gave. I was like, you know what? I think we
Yeah, I
did
did
pretty
too.
good. I think we
Right.
have a. Well, let's just walk through these real fast.
right.
So, I'll cover mine real fast. One, we never did get a Nintendo Direct. Now, granted, we may still get one this month, so this first one is still TBD on my list.
Yeah.
But I had Nintendo Switch 2 launching in 2025, and a bonus was that the price would be $399. We don't know
Right.
yet. They haven't had any kind of showcase. The rumor is they will be having one in the next week or so. We'll see. I did say Xbox announces Gears of War 6 for 2025, Xbox and PC only, and then bonus the Gears collection coming in 2024. And I said that will be multi-platform. Those are all based on the rumors we've been hearing. No Gears of War collection. Gears of War E-Day instead of Gears
Right.
6 was announced. So I'll give myself partial credit for that one.
Yeah, I'd give you half a point for that. You were close.
And it, it didn't get a date, but I have to think that's 2025.
Right.
Although it could be 2026. In fairness, it could.
Right.
So maybe that's going to go with launch of new hardware. Hint, hint.
Maybe.
And then I said new James Bond game from the Hitman developer finally shown off. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
And no, obviously it didn't get shown. We don't know when
Right.
that's coming. Now, Kim, you said new Dragon Age trailer and release date. Winner, chicken dinner.
We got that one.
Got that one. And then you did say they would be a Xbox handheld reveal. Now, look, we heard some rumors of a tease about hardware from Xbox. They certainly said they're working on next generation. We know that.
Right.
And there was a question thrown at Phil Spencer about a handheld device. If they were to make one, would it be online only, or would it be allowed, have offline play? Phil Spencer said, if they were to make a handheld, he certainly thinks it would need to have offline playability, but no actual commentary about hardware. And of course, Space Marines Remaster launched prior to Space Marine 2 is so far not happening.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
But I hope it happens.
But hey, 1 point for you, full point, a half point for me. I'll take it. And we move forward.
Yeah.
We've got a... where are we going? Where are we going with this? Kim?
Yes.
I know you weren't expecting this, but you know what?
All right, now everybody get settled. Get away from the windows. Now look, good. It's time for the quiz. Yeah, you know what? Oh, too bad. Tough.
There
Sneaking one in there.
I did, yeah.
All
Got a
right.
little quiz, Kim.
All right.
Here we go. Kim, take yourself back to 2022. Not that
All right.
not that far back, okay?
No.
Strap yourself in. You now get to be the lone player to guess the Metacritic score for these 3 games. Are you ready?
Sure.
By default, by the way, you won this week, so congratulations. But we still have to go through the process.
Yeah.
Kim, Gotham Knights released on the Series X and S in 2022.
Okay.
What Metacritic score did that get?
Gosh, I keep thinking I think it did fairly well, but I could be wrong. So I'm gonna go with 88.
Kim, if I were to say maybe you should rethink that score.
Oh.
Now you're on the books for 88. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You're screwed in that regard. But where would you maybe, if you had a second guess, come in at?
Well, I'm gonna think maybe it's lower than that. So 77.
Kim, if I told you to rethink that score, would you believe, Kim, it came in at a 64?
Wow, no, I didn't really think it was that bad.
I did not think it was that bad either. And I think a lot of people actually, from a user standpoint, said it really wasn't that bad, but it got panned pretty hard. It did.
Huh. Apparently, I missed it because I seem to think most people that played it seemed to like it. So. But that's kind of the way games work, though.
This is true. This is true. CP Matthew in the house said 87. Wrong. Boomer said 85. Wrong. So there we go. Come play along, everybody, in the chat. We're moving on to our next game, Kim.
Alrighty.
Next game from 2022. Kim, one of your favorite genres. I can honestly say I have seen you play games like this almost never. Kim,
Helpful.
If you were to put a Metacritic score to Elden Ring on PC, what would your score be, Kim? Elden Ring on PC.
Now I'm trying to remember. I was thinking Elden Ring on PC kind of had some issues to start. I thought I did pretty well on console, but I thought on. All right, let me see. 83.
Kim, you're coming in with an 83. Getting a restricted call, which we will block. All right, 83 from Kim. I think the chat is probably going to chime in here momentarily, but we'll spoil things away. Kim, if I were to tell you to rethink your score, where would you land at that, Kim? Where would you go? Would you go higher? Would you go lower? 83 was your score. Elden Ring on PC.
Well, given that it's Elden Ring, and I know I'll be brouhaha over that, I could go higher. How about 90?
90. Okay. Kim, that was closer to the truth than the 83. CP Matthew came in with an 88 on the chat. I think Boomer's just sitting this out now because he's so throttled by the fact that he missed so badly on the last one. But 94, Kim, 94 for
All right,
Elden
well,
Ring.
I don't know. For some reason, I was thinking on the PC they had issues, but maybe not.
Oh, they had issues, all right. That it was a great game.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kim. Last but not least,
All right.
Going to visit the land of PlayStation 5. And
Okay.
Kim, in 2022, PlayStation
Right.
had the exclusive to Babylon's Fall.
Oh.
Babylon's Fall, Kim. What did Babylon's
Oh.
Fall on PlayStation 5 score in our year 2022?
I don't think well, because if I know anything about Babylon's Fall, I don't remember it being so great. So I'm gonna go with a 78.
78.
Probably lower than that, but
Kim, if I was to tell you to rethink your score, Kim, where do you think you would come in at? If I said rethink that score, Kim, for Babylon's
Alrighty.
Fall on PS5, exclusive at the time on PS5.
65.
65. Kim, if I was to
65.
tell you to further rethink your score on Babylon's
Oh
Fall,
dear.
would you believe, Kim? Brace for it.
Okay.
41.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad.
It
Holy
got
cow.
dragged through the ringer.
It did. And I
did.
think I picked it up anyway. I've never actually played it, but I do think I picked it up because I think they had it for free somewhere.
You might want to
So-
send it back, Kim. You might want to send it back. So Kim,
Wow.
despite doing
Ouch.
terrible this week,
I
you
damn.
you were off by quite a bit, but you still
Mhm.
won, Kim. Congratulations. Well
Yay.
done. Just type Kim's name in as the winner for this week. All right, there we go. Metacritic
Ouch.
done. Metacritic madness, as always, just a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
All right. I've noticed, by the way, nobody in the chat wanted to take a chance on Babylon's Fall.
Babylon's
Nobody
Fall,
thought
yeah.
that was worth even
It
trying
really
to guess.
took a fall for damn sure.
Yes.
Oh boy.
All right. What can we do here?
Mhm.
I think, Kim, we can talk about new releases. That's what we
Alrighty.
can do.
All right, we'll do that. Alrighty, I'm all ready for it. Alrighty, your new releases for June 16th through June 22nd are #Blood, BLUD, for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on June 18th. Kind of weird that current gen's not in there anywhere, but alright. I mean, besides Switch, I guess. But, Still Wakes to Deep for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC on June 18th. Also coming to Game Pass. And I know that's like a survival horror sort of thing, but I think I might be interested in at least checking it out. I don't know, it looks interesting. Echo Generation Midnight Edition for the Switch and PC, June 19th. Dice Folk for the Switch, June 20th. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 for the PlayStation 5, June 20th. Dystopica for the PC, June 21st. And a big one that I know there are quite a few people looking forward to. I'm not one of them because, as Tank Top noted, I don't play these things, although I like the look of them. I just get frustrated and want to throw my controller, so no. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on the 21st. So there you go. Are you going to be returning to Elden Ring for the Erd Tree, or
Probably not.
I don't like.
You know, so the funny thing is, my big thing with these Souls-like games, I get the paranoia or the fear, if you will, of dying in, because I always do. I always end up dying in the random place with the hard monster, and
Right.
then I'm screwed on trying to get back to my stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
I'm
Probably
right there
not.
with you. I get pissed off enough in real life doing, normal everyday things. I don't want to be that pissed off playing a video game that I'm supposed to be relaxing over. So,
Yeah.
no thanks.
All right. Okay. Well, a bit of a fast show today. Again,
bit, yeah.
not a lot going on in the community, if you will, in terms of games or new games. Not a lot of news happening because we
Mhm.
covered all of the important bits last week.
Right.
But we do have play dates, Kim. Wednesday,
do.
8 p.m.
Uh-huh.
to 9 p.m. in the UK.
Right.
Usually try and get in that hour.
Mhm.
Halo nights. Although it could be Hypercharge night this week. We never know. But
Okay.
that will be
Well,
Wednesday.
let me know. I've got time.
Yeah. And then on Friday,
Mhm.
Fatal Fridays at 8 p.m. Also in the UK.
Yep.
So in other words,
Indeed.
figure it out in your own time zone. It's basically about 12 p.m. on the West Coast for
And
both
to
of
my
these.
time.
Yeah.
So,
Right at my lunchtime, which is kind of why they're scheduled that way.
yeah, that's okay. Works.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're kind of at that moment. We're going to do some shout outs, show notes, ending stuff. Look, if you're on, watching, subscribe, like, please give us the social media bumps. If you're listening to this, maybe you're working out, you're catching the show post like Kim did last week. You know, look for us there. Give us likes. We're whatever platform you're on. Give us a like. Give us some love. That's all we ask. We don't ask for much.
Yeah.
We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on, I think we're on Spotify. We're on Apple iTunes. We are on YouTube, of course, and Twitch. So again, we're pretty much everywhere you think you might want to be. So yeah, come check us out. Give us some love. And of course, Kim, shout outs from you.
Alrighty, I'm going to shout out Boomer and CP Matthew for jumping in the chat. So thanks, fellas. Happy Father's Day out there to everybody, including my dad, who's off today helping a cousin of his move a friend of his to their house. So, you know, Father's Day and my dad's moving people. I didn't realize we were operating a moving service either, but here we are. So happy Father's Day, Pop. Other than that, something I missed during story time. I have a new collectible. I got my last Stray collectible yesterday. So he's a little, well, he's not a Funko because he's not made of Funko, but he's kind of a pop. He's a little vinyl dude. So there you are, my little kitty. So
all right,
there's that. Other than that, everybody have a good week this week, and I'll send you over to Tank Top.
Well, thank you, Kim, for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Quick, fast show, which lines up perfectly for the rest of my afternoon, which is going to be pizza and pool, as in pool time. A shout out to all our dads, Boomer, Christopher Matthew in the chat. Happy Father's Day to all of you. And a shout out to, of course, my dad who has passed. But, you know, he really taught me a lot about being a dad. He was very present. And that's the one thing I take away from a lot of the learning that I got from my dad was just being present in your child's life. It's the most important thing you can do as a dad. Outside of course, the supporting them financially and all that good stuff, but be present, be part of their lives. Don't just let life slide by and not be there for them. So I'm thankful to him and of course, miss him dearly, but I won't end on a sour note. We'll end on a positive note, which is no more crickets. They're all gone.
Yay!
We killed a lot of them.
The plague of
and then they moved on. So have a great Sunday, everybody. Happy Father's Day and enjoy the rest of the week. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.
Bye.
If I can find the button, we'll get out of here.
That's important.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.